Hello, beautiful people. We are back. Okay. Welcome to season 2. I'm Janae.
I'm Sarah.
I'm still your girl, Ashley.
And it's Rianne.
And this is still Honey, It's Yours, the podcast that you guys love. We know. Yeah, we appreciate it.
We appreciate you hearing from your cars, your bedrooms,
Wherever
your jobs, wherever you guys listen. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And follow us in every single platform that there is.
Actually, just stop right now and do it. And if you're driving, pull over because, negligence. But we're going to tell you about that in a second. But, do it right now so you don't forget. Okay?
Goes to law school for a semester.
Bro, it hasn't changed the way you move through life, though.
All right.
Honestly, let's have that life update. What has changed?
We'll get there. You go first.
Might as well.
All right, guys. So, updates. Your girl's in law school now. I have officially joined the ghetto club of going to Long Island on a daily basis. Yeah. And if you're from Long Island, you could quote me. I said what I said.
That's great.
I'm in law school now. I now spend at least 14 hours a day in the building. It's really, it's interesting. I've met some new people, met some new friends. Hey guys, y'all better be listening.
I know friends.
Y'all better be listening. And that's literally what I do now. And I still have my business, of course, but that's my life update.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No respect. That's fine.
You were ending.
You ain't know that when you was talking that I was ending.
I was still multitasking.
Thank you. Sarah, what's up with you?
So not too far off from Danae, but maybe a little far off. I'm also in law school.
Woo!
I go to the Howard University School.
Is it this?
I hate you.
Check on YouTube while I'm going.
So I have moved out of New York. I'm now in DC for the next 3 years. So if y'all are in town, let me know. Visit me. I'm lonely. Yeah. But no, it's an interesting chapter that I'm entering. Law school is quite an experience, but we'll get into that in a second. Move on to Ashley. What you up to?
What's new? Still studying for my CPA. Anyone who's studying for the CPA knows how long or how strenuous it is to study for the 4 tests. But we are making it through. We are almost done. Woo-hoo. Praise the Lord.
In Jesus' name.
And then, the new year is going to have some new things, new opportunities for me. So stay tuned.
Love that for you. Bad gal.
I quit one job.
Y'all heard the snort.
I'm still at the other one. It's gotten better. I don't hate my boss anymore as much because I don't see her ever. She moved to another building, so I don't have to deal with her ever.
Love that for you.
Your boss better not
the
listen
kids
to this.
really look up to me, and it's motivating. But I am still looking to leave. So if you are hiring, please, I am credible. I'm entertaining. I am positive. I'm motivated. I'm smart. I'm an intelligent young woman. I bring the diversity, if you know what I'm saying. So please let me know.
She said I am not palm colored.
Jeez. I have the color. I have the gender. I have the disability. Whatever you need, you can check that box with me.
Yo, you're gonna be
all the boxes.
The check box for the
literally.
Nah, you're going.
She's good. Yes,
You're going crazy.
Well, yeah, that's it. Nothing else is new with me.
You want to be the token person?
I mean, if that's gonna get me to check, I'm not gonna lie. They're gonna learn after the fact that I'm more than a token. I'm the prize.
That was a cute little saying, but don't put that as like an IG. Like the
No.
I am the prize.
I am the prize.
But if y'all already couldn't tell, these are what you call the post-grad blues. You have 2 people miserable from law school, one studying for an exam, the next one trying to find her next job. So everybody tell me, how have y'all felt post-grad? I know it's been a minute, and it's been a little while. I'm fresh off, so I'll go last, but
no, I feel like you should go first.
Yeah, it's the freshest in your mind.
Post grad experience, I guess. When did
I think because I didn't really.
What? 2 years ago.
Nah, you're okay.
Well,
memory loss.
Technically, one because of grad school.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Sarah.
So for me, it's been interesting. Going from Baruch in the city and all of that to going to a full-on campus and then navigating fully growing up, undergrad is not grad school whatsoever. And you learn that the hard way if you don't transition fast enough. And I feel like I didn't spend much time during the summer to like understand the next phase of life that I was going into. So it was interesting, like, you know, seeing other people, seeing how they're navigating, how they're handling, and trying to do it my own way.
But can you really prepare for that though?
No.
So but then you can mentally at least like get yourself just maybe like spend time with family, spend time with friends, like do more stuff. I was not in New York all summer. I was here for maybe a month, 3 weeks, and then like
she was in Kenya for one whole episode, bro.
Okay. Anyways, speaking of which, go watch that episode. But I don't think I spent enough time here to transition over, like,
because you moved away,
life. Right? Because I left the state.
Got you.
But yeah.
I guess I'm not in school anymore, and I'm the most out of school, you can say. I guess 2 years ago, I graduated from undergrad. 1 year ago, I graduated from the COVID grad school. I guess I don't think I ever experienced the blues because my trajectory in my career academically was always step 1, step 2, step 3. So here's what you got to do. And I always had things backed up. I already know where I was going to work after I graduated. I already knew what I wanted to do, what exams, what licenses and boards to take, whatever. So I never had like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life until now. I guess what do I want to do? Because I feel like now I have the time to pick and choose where I want to go with and what route I want to take within my industry, which is so broad because business is everywhere. Like from the library to the MTA, I can work anywhere basically. But it's more like, what do I want? Figuring out what that is. So that's the most blues, but the most yellows is, happiness is, post-grad yellows, the happiness is that you have so much time, but let's just let it rock. No?
I don't think so.
Okay, so what color is it?
I'm trying to think of one.
Black excellence. The most black excellence, most yellow positivity and happiness that I've gotten after post-grad is the time to travel, the time to go out, the time to not worry about assignments, the time to see friends, the time to actually do what, aside from, financially and academically and career-ally, I can do whatever I want.
Facts. And I'm sure for those listening too, like having that liberation in that time, like even in our age, because time is the sun is rising and setting much faster nowadays.
Listen,
so I think
the world is hot.
I think
the excellence is dropping.
No, literally, Earth is hot.
But literally, after school is done, you have time to do whatever you want, to do exactly what you want. Whether it's within your field, out of your field, still figuring it out. If you want to go travel, want to work sometime, it's up to you. You legit create what you want your day to be like.
Yeah,
and that's what I can do.
Yeah. Like after graduation, I definitely, because I always did like traveling, but after graduation, there was way more, I don't want to call it incentive, but like I guess it's just time, more opportunity to do those kind of things. And I think my experience it parallels yours, but it's a little bit different because like while in school, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I was still getting opportunities and experience in the field that I ended up wanting to be in. Right. And now it's like, this is the first time that I'm like struggling to get what I want. And it's like, maybe it's the privilege talking, but it's like, I wanted this. And it's like in the past, I've been able to apply myself and get it because of how I positioned myself. And part of me wants to blame COVID because that time frame really screwed up my timeline in a sense. Right. But it's also like my colleagues have been able to do it, like regardless of COVID. So making that excuse for myself makes it it puts a little bit of pressure on me, and it makes me feel a little bit like I folded and dropped the ball.
Or maybe it just wasn't your time.
That too, but then it's like, when is my time? Like, how long am I going to be dealing with these kids for real? It's like, I like them. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, I know in my heart this is not where I'm supposed to be for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but it's also convenient. Like, I get paid to have summer break. There's certain benefits. I automatically get a week off for Christmas time. I automatically get a week off in the middle of February. So it's like, there are certain things where it's like, it's not that bad, but it's also like,
it's not what I want.
There's more for me out there. So right now, especially, I'm like in a very weird spot of fighting the feeling of wanting to just settle and be okay with where I am, as opposed to like risking and putting myself out there and risking rejection.
That part,
and
I know you're talking about.
I don't like any of that stuff.
I'm about to go with that.
Even though it sucks, it's safe. So I'd rather be safe in the suckiness than risk it all and lose.
But then you can do both, though. You can still be safe in the suckiness and still take interviews.
But I also, of course, I feel like you can, but like that's not always possible. Like I feel like for me, that's not something I could do. Like y'all know me, I'd be like, all right, guys, quitting, and I just know that for me, like I wouldn't have done the thing. I mean, but like I wouldn't have completely put myself into certain things that I wanted to do until I let go of what was working.
But that's also your personality to just end something and to jump into something else.
Yeah, but yes, that's my personality, but it was also as well like knowing that I would never fully be putting what I like my all into this one thing until I let go of the other thing. Like it was two ways. It worked out in my favor that it's my personality and I'm okay
with taking that risk.
But like I learned that as well about myself.
Right.
That I have to just jump in and figure it out. Yeah. But I can also say that with privilege of
being here. Yeah.
The home in which I was raised in.
But I do want to say in both situations, you guys are both very self-aware of the state of mind that you're in, which a lot of people can't say that they have or can come to terms with. So the fact that you're aware that you're in this phase of like change/not change, risk or not risk, like you're aware of it, I think the next step for anybody in this kind of phase is just to take that one step forward to push yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, just to take that a little bit, because you still have that safety net. You still know that all of us are still in, except for you, are in our parents' home. Like we still have that safety net. This is the time for us to dip our toes into different ponds and whatnot. And your job is a safety net because on the days that you have off, you could be taking interviews.
Yeah, right.
You could be, doing mock interviews, talking to other people in different industries, and going to these events or whatever. Like it's gonna take more effort, but you still know that you're gonna have a job to go to on Monday. Exactly. But on Friday after 4 o'clock, I'm about to go
4:15.
4:15. We about to go clock in and see something else that I can do or start doing things on the weekend. And then if you like that, be like, you know what? I'm not about to see you on Monday. I got something better.
Damn. Miss Danae J. What you has the post-grad blues?
So I feel like technically, with the exception of the last 3 months, technically I'm the most removed from school because this December would have been 3 years since I graduated if I didn't start law school.
Damn.
Yeah, I graduated 2019 December. Right. So I feel like that.
I was a sophomore.
Whispers into my ear.
Yeah, I feel like that. I mean, looking back on like that specific time, because I guess it was two different kinds of post grad blues. I feel like it was a lot of different things. It was like one, navigating me being the only person that I went to school with out of school and having to like live my life while all of my friends were still kind of in school. But I was also working on my business. I think the hardest thing I dealt with, and now it's a little better because I'm just not home anymore, but I think it was more so just like my parents kind of respecting that although I'm home, like I'm in the house, I'm still trying to work on doing something and I need like the space and time. And like my post-grad blues is like finding me and my time while being in the midst of all of these other places where I felt like I didn't really have true authority.
Interesting.
And even now, I still feel that way.
Your type of personality, though, is very like you take authority over a lot of things in your own life. So it's interesting that you say that. So, like, explain that a little more.
At the end of the day, I still live in my parents' home.
Correct. Okay.
I still
you have rules to follow.
Yeah, and like I mean, not like my parents are like on me, but at the end of the day, like there's certain things like that in this house I either can't do, or if I want to choose peace and like just be okay with things, like I can't do. Like
peace.
Like for example, remember when we had the game night at your house the last time, and I drove that time, and it was me in the car with you and Pierden, and I got home at like.
I hope my mom does not hear this.
I got home. Oh, sorry. I got home at like what?
It was not at Sarah's house.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. Heard it already.
It was like I dropped maybe we left your house by like 1. So we got back here by like 2, dropped you, I was back home by like 2:30.
What?
Bro.
On site.
It
wasn't on site. It was the
site?
next day. And it was like, oh, so you think you big. And I'm just like, I'm like, and then it's like, I'm like, I text y'all when I get home. Okay, but you should have called me. And I'm just like, since when was that the rule? That has
right.
I guess, and like,
that's that thing.
And it's like, it's fine because like we've navigated it, like we've had these conversations, but it's just like that, or like just being able to come home and like, I like to be naked. Can't be naked in a house with
not you
people.
whispering.
I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not even gonna lie. The best part of living by yourself is that exact privilege. My parents were asking me today, like, what's your favorite part of like living by yourself? I said I could walk around, do whatever, play whatever, sing, like everything is up to Sarah.
Yeah.
Not up to that.
It's the trade-off between peace and financial stability, you know?
Yeah, and like, I don't, like for me, like it's not like a lot of things too. Like my parents pretty much let us do whatever, and like I can say that at this point I could be like, I'm going here, and like, even if they have their feelings, they don't express their feelings to me. Like they might express it to my sister, and like she'll tell me, but like they don't, you know, like
right.
It's fine, but it's just like me as well. Like there are things that I want to do for myself that I don't. And it's not my parents' fault, but there are things that I want to do for myself that I don't necessarily feel comfortable doing. Like, I like to work out. I want to work out. I want it in my routine. I want nobody around when I'm working out. I don't want anybody to know that Janae worked out today because I just don't like things like, oh, you're going to work out? Like, why do we need to have this conversation? Like, you saw me come downstairs in leggings and I'm turning on the TV. Like, it just bothers me. Like, that's a me thing. I want to do those things in private, in my own space. Like, and that's my own mental. And so that's like my biggest post-grad rules. Even now, going back to school, it's interesting because I don't like everybody in law school is in like 12 different law school. You meet people who have come from 40 different worlds, and it's a beautiful thing. But it's also like you also have those people who came straight out of college, and it's like, oh, this is high school, or you have the adults.
Did you just call me high school?
No, unless you act. Do you act like you're in high school? Okay, then. And I'm about to say you also have the adults who are like. You have the adults who are 32 and 28 and 47, and it's like, oh, this is high school. So like that's kind of annoying, but I still struggle with the same coming home and feeling like I just want to go to bed, or even if I want to lay on the couch, I'm just gonna go in my room because I can't it's just and it's just people everywhere. And like the other day I just came home and I went in my room and I cried and I went to sleep and I was like, that was great. Like, but like, I just had to cry first because I couldn't do it. Like I couldn't. So yeah,
I think we all come from.
I feel like I'm very loud.
We all come from like families who are immigrants, not families who are not like naturally born Americans.
Right.
So my question to y'all is like, you all just expressed your post-grad blues and how you've been navigating life that way. How has that been with having parents not from here?
Bro, we are creating the handbook of how to live in America, bro, as we live through it. Like, there is no handbook, there is no experience that they can bestow upon us, especially because it's a different time. Since they've came into America, into New York, it's a different time, it's a different era. Things are not the same. And when they were our age, legit, I think I wouldn't be able to do what they did, because to leave this country, to go somewhere where people is talking about you crazy, make a life for it, especially the way that my parents did it, big ups to them, where I give props to them all the time, where it's like, if they did that, then I must do better, because it's crazy. But adulting, I guess, as a first gen American,
and advice too.
I don't even know, but I'm saying, like, going back to like living alone versus living in your parents' home is like, I feel like for me, my parents respect that I finished school and they know that I'm getting older, so they, the umbilical cord is starting to be cut and separated, where it's like, you're 24 now, you should,
very graphic image.
You could be living by yourself at this point, so I really don't have nothing to, I can't really say nothing to you, but I'm gonna still say what I want to say.
I also think though, and y'all could correct me if I'm wrong, but I still feel like it's maybe a little different for you, Ashley, and you, Rianne, versus Sarah and I, because you guys are the firstborns in your house, and I'm the lastborn in my house. So of course is that umbilical cord cut But it's like, you're my baby. And I mean, here, like, I will milk it till the cow is dry because at the end of the day, like...
Or until you're 26 and no insurance.
Bro. So if somebody in my class is like, every time I see you got different glasses, I said, I'm using my mother insurance till I can't anymore.
Bro.
If I could get 2 pairs every time I go, I'm
getting
get
2
the 2
pairs.
pairs.
That's the part.
Absolutely.
So that when I'm done, I bring them back these same frames and I'm like, change the lens.
Please and thank you.
I'm not paying for
Please
that.
and thank you.
You kidding me?
But I think as the firstborn and as first gen, I feel like for me it's more so at this point now that I'm done school, especially as a woman in a Haitian household, you know, the first thing I got, not even the first thing. Matter of fact, let it be the first thing. Take offense if you want to take offense. Bro, I went to a wedding and I kid you not, the first thing, oh, you're done school now? Oh, you're working? Yes. Oh, how is that? So when are you getting married?
Yeah.
Are you gonna be at the next wedding? Are you like?
My grandma said,
Are you hooking me up? Yo, my grandmother.
I
Bless
graduated.
her. I love her so much. Every time I go see her. So where's the boyfriend now?
Y'all are so
I'm
much
like,
better than me because
yo.
I would bring one of y'all and be like, this is my girlfriend, I'm gay.
Oh yeah. So they can.
But it's also,
That's also how I know.
Participating in
I know.
the taunting her
And-
grandparent.
No
I don't have
ethics.
grandparents though, so
Taunting her parents.
Absolutely
whoever.
not.
my
But-
parents don't do that though.
Post grad, it's where is the ring? When am I meeting the man? And then when is the kids coming? And I'm telling them, match make me, because clearly you in a rush, I'm not in a rush.
But it also says he that findeth a
Match
wife
make me.
finds a good thing. So I mean, men, because he that findeth a wife, he
Child.
that findeth a wife. Ooh.
I think I have positioned myself, you know,
To be found.
to be found.
I mean, just kidding.
And you know, it is what it is, you know. And she got those.
In terms of like adulting, well, one, I mean, obviously we can't compare it to anything besides what we know. So like, I don't know how to compare it to like not growing up here. I don't know. Like, I was talking to my sister about this today, and I feel like I'm very blessed to have Caribbean parents, but also Caribbean parents who don't necessarily fit all the Caribbean stigmas.
My family's the exact same way.
Like my family, like my parents didn't put like. The only thing my mother has spoken to me about relationships, boys, consistently that I could repeat off the dome, no broke love. She don't care if it comes today or, I mean, I'm sure she has a preference, but like, I have never felt any pressure from her in that regard. It's no broke love. If that's it. So I'm telling y'all, no broke love. Don't come if you, sorry. No. It's a requirement of the household. That's the only thing I've had in regard to that. And then I think in regard to like career paths and like figuring that out, I feel like any pressure that I genuinely feel around those things is, well, at least a couple years ago, like fresh out of school, I feel like the pressure I felt around those things were more the pressure I put on myself because of the expectations, because of what my parents have done and like how they have become the people they are. And there's no way that I'm going to let them do all the work that they did to put me in the position that I'm in now to then not meet the standard. Yeah. Granted, they haven't had to say what that standard is in how many years because we've always met it, right? So like, it's not to say like they're putting a standard there that I'm trying to meet and that's the pressure. It's me setting a standard high for myself. But I think now it's a lot more like pressure. Like, I feel like I'm really truly adulting now versus 2 years ago because my parents retired. Mm-hmm. So that stresses me out actively because I feel like one, we're still going through that transition phase in my house because of the privilege that we have had to like even understand like the finances of our household. Like we didn't have all those conversations that we should have been having. Like we had to sit down and be like, how much is the mortgage? If you guys die tomorrow, what are we gonna have? What's happening in that sense? Right. And I feel like we've never been, our family is always really good at getting things done, but we weren't necessarily good at getting things done together. Like we did our things and we knew everything was happening, but like having those familial conversations and understanding how those things operate, I don't feel like we got. So I feel like it's dealing with that, and also like because I'm trying to run a business, my bank accounts stay on empty, so it's very like stressful for me to think like how, if everything was to go up in flames tomorrow, like I have no idea what would happen, if I'm being completely like honest. And like that stresses me out. And then on top of that, going back to law school now, stepping back on even taking orders to like try to accomplish that part of life, it's like, okay, so the bank account on zero. I mean, it's never really on zero, guys, relax. But like for all intensive purposes, relax. Like in terms of like my standard, the bank account on zero, like it's like nothing is where I would want it to be. And like the safety net that I like to have for myself and that I'm used to having for myself in the past, I don't necessarily have now. And my parents have never been like, oh, don't ask me. But it's also like I'm very aware of the fact that my parents are retired now. The structure of our house has changed, and the lifestyle is, or should be, different. At least until the kids get their life together, the lifestyle have to change, because like it's not the same anymore. And like once again, these aren't necessarily things that they put on me, but like these are things that I'm actively thinking about on a day-to-day basis. And that's like my little struggle. Especially because everybody kind of just assumes that like we got it because they're used to this, and I'm like, we don't have it. They just worked really hard to give us this much. Like,
right. What about you, Leanne?
I think
like as like a first gen
adulting.
Yeah.
It's been weird because I think as like the firstborn, I've automatically been like the goody two shoes child. Like my one goal in life is to please my parents. It's very much like, okay, yes mom, yes dad, whatever you want to do. So finding that shift of when it became, I can't do this because they're gonna be mad, to I'm actually allowed to do this because I'm old enough to make my own choices. Like that is like, it's very confusing. And I think I started to see it a lot when we started going to like parties and stuff, because it was like my parents said I could go, and it's just like, and they didn't say I have to come home. It was just like, ooh, it's like, when did we kind of shift? And they even, because it's like, you know, when you're growing up with Caribbean parents, they're just automatically, they're strict. It's a stereotype, but it's especially a fact of the matter.
With daughters.
You know what I'm saying? With a young girl, it's, you're not going outside.
And in the world we're living in, you know, to give them
and
some
it makes
credit.
sense. And I'm not mad at it because it made me how I am today. But it's like trying to figure out when it shifted for them to be like, yeah, why did you just assume like we were gonna say no? Like, Rianne, you're 19, you're 21, like, and it's just like I am. So like,
now sometimes we be acting a little crazy sometimes when the clock turn 1.
You know what I'm saying?
And I get a text like, how's everything going?
Now my phone is blowing up and it's, where are you? I thought we were cool. I thought we were fine and dandy, and now it's, where are you? What time do you plan on coming home? And I think I'm free as a bird.
Right.
But I remember like when I got into my relationship was when I saw it clear as day, because it was
Y'all
like,
hear that? Still in a relationship?
Yeah, still cuffed.
Yeah.
We're still doing good.
Yeah.
But it was like, I think it was the first time we asked to go on a trip together. And this was almost like a year ago.
Where?
The Poconos.
Okay.
So it was a cute little vacation. So he asked me to be his man. Oh, his girl. And at first, I asked my mother, and she was like, no, because whatever you need to do there, you can do here. There's no reason for you guys to go away for 4 days. She thought I was going to have sex and come home pregnant. So obviously she's going to do everything in her power to put up a wall.
Yeah.
To put up a wall. But that's what happened, you know? So after about like 3 days passed, right? And it's tense in my house because I'm tight because I can't go on a trip with my man, who's not my man yet, but like he's my man.
Right.
And my mom is tight because why would Rianne even ask me for that? And my dad is like, this girl talking about this boy all the time and da 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 da. And so everyone is tense. And then one day my dad sits down and he's saying this to my mom, and he's like, you know, she's 22. She's either gonna do it with our permission or do it behind our back.
And I used to do it behind
their back.
They know.
Oh,
that's why we chose it behind their back. No, they know now. But you know, we choose peace.
Right, peace.
It was a journey.
Right.
They know
so
now.
like, I could have fought them and been like, no, I'm gonna go, but I wanted peace, right? Because we all know what it's like to fight parents. No
that
peace.
passive aggressive fight, because you can't really fight.
And you know, my parents know that like the biggest thing for me is like the silent treatment.
Oh.
And if something ever goes wrong, like if I ever came home too late or I did something, the next day nobody's talking to me in the house, bro. It's quiet. Good morning.
Wow.
Silence.
I'm
and
sorry,
when I tell you that eats me up, bro, because now the guilt is just, what are they thinking? So they know that's the way to get to me. But aside from that, my dad said to my mom, she was like, we are at a point now where she's an adult, and it's a privilege for her to still be living with us and still respecting our choices and holding our desires to such a high standard. So we might as well let her have it so it doesn't build up resentment between us. And so I would say, like, advice to anybody who is getting older and they're trying to, like, figure out how to navigate their newfound relationship with their parents. I would say, with a grain of salt, be honest, because as you get older, your parents respect that you can tell them the truth, because you're becoming an adult. Correct. And that can help build a relationship between the two of you where you can do things and you don't have to lie or be deceptive to get what you want. Like now, if I'm gonna go see him, I could just say, yeah, I'm gonna go chill with Patrick, and it's fine, and I love that. Because before, when I never used to be deceptive, right? But back in the day when I used to have to kind of figure out ways to frame what I'm saying in order to get them to say yes, it's like while I'm out, I'm like, yo, bro, they're gonna find out. Like, I'm checking my phone. I'm like, bro, when I tell you nervous, because in my mind, I know what I'm doing is wrong. And I know that they know that I'm not doing the right thing. So it's like, that is what kind of like put me in this place. And it wasn't as good of a relationship as we have now. Like now I'm super grateful for how I am with my parents. Like I feel like I can talk to them about just about anything, you know? And I would want that for everybody else, because now I feel like a regular American kid who can do what they want to do.
Nah, that's crazy. I think that could be another episode about like adulting and also finally understanding that your parents are also human and are adults, and so it's not adult to a child, it's adult to adult.
Yeah, you're not a kid anymore.
We're not a kid anymore, and the way I speak to you is the way I want you to speak to me, and I must still respect you as my parent, but you're not about to treat me like no other little kid.
Play kid.
Like, we about to have an actual conversation. And I feel like that's the switch in that role from child to adult is a very... It's enjoyable when it's like, oh, snap, I understand why you act like this. But it's also like, I'm an adult and I'm about to grab and take what I need to do. Because same thing of like framing what you want to say in order to now saying, I'm about to do this. Like I had that whole switch, like it was a gradual switch of like,
asking
hey,
for something.
I'm asking for permission to go here. And then it turned into,
I'm letting
hey,
you know.
In 2 weeks, this is coming up. So I would like to go. So I'm telling you from now. And then it's like, oh, I'm going out tomorrow. And then now I was like, I'll see you later. And he's like, oh, where you going? Oh, I'm going to the whatever. Oh, cool. Like the other day, I was so shocked. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to this dance class. He was like, oh, what dance classes? I'm going to so-and-so's dance class. Like, oh, I know so-and-so used to do dance classes and they did this and then this. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, okay, yeah, see you. I want to come back.
That conversation and then, so you get it done.
And then the next day, they're like, oh, how was it?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you feel good. Exactly.
That's nice.
And it doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It does not happen overnight.
Or if you move out of
your house, you have to just
you have to. You know your parents.
Yeah.
I don't know about the I'll be back, but you know, I got
if you're going to Target, I'd be like, I'll be back.
Yeah, I can't do that in my house.
Where you
but
going?
I also don't want to do that.
Target?
No. Yeah. No, but it's the way like somebody needs to know I am.
Oh.
Like, and that's just a thing across the board in my house, in my friendships. That's how I am. Because if something happens to you, somebody needs to know. Like, the I'll be back, where did they go? Did they tell you how long they were coming back? Even if, realistically, something happened, you file a police report, a missing person report, they come to the house, and that's the story you tell them?
Sometimes it's not that serious.
Sometimes it's not that serious, but the day that it is, and you don't have information, I mean, I'm just never going to be that person. That's not for me, personally.
My family got my location, so...
I mean,
whether I wanted to or not, they know.
My dad had my location. I don't think he figured out how to like turn it on yet, but I've showed it to him multiple times.
That is one thing that is never happening.
But
ever.
I don't think I would let that happen either.
I feel like down.
I feel like
my mom is always across the world in some dangerous area. So if her location is tracked by somebody else that's not us, we can't risk that. Yeah. So my sister and I use that as a reason to not have her location tracked.
That's a great reason. My thing is just trust that I'm going to be where I said I'm going to be.
Not in the house.
I don't know. For me, it's not like.
But I have
a sense of
my friend's location, but it's not. I don't know.
My mom just saw something on Dateline, and she saw that Life 360 is gonna save your life if you get into a car accident. So now she got my location.
I don't know. For me, it's like the whole like it's not like from a sense of like lack of trust or whatever. Like we have.
I feel it's a little too much.
For me, it's like my house. It's more like not even a respect thing, but it's a peace of mind thing for them. Like to go back to what we were saying about navigating the relationship with your parents and figuring out how to kind of like well, at least for me, like orient, like connect, like appease in a way, but also just preserve your peace and preserve that relationship. Like in my house, like I said, it's always been like somebody needs to know where you are, and it's not from a sense of I don't trust where you're going, so I need to see where you are. But it's
Safety.
like I just want to make sure that you're safe. And if it makes my parents sleep a little better at night, that somebody in my house or they have my location, like that's fine with me. That wasn't something that was asked of me. That was something that I chose to do on my own strength.
But me saying I'll be back is not like if you ask me where I'm going, I'm not gonna tell you. Like I'm keeping a secret of like, oh, sneaky link. Like I'm about to go see somebody where I'm supposed to go somewhere I'm not supposed to go. But it's like it's so open to the fact where it's like I can leave the house and I don't have to give you 2 weeks notice. I'm about to go out, or plans just came up. You know, plans come up and I'm about to go out. And if you ask me where I'm going, I'm going to tell you. But our relationship now is not a 2 weeks notice. Because I know it's a lot of Haitian parents, especially with their daughters, where it's like, you need 2 weeks notice, you need a week reminder, and then the day before you need a reminder again. Because then you never ask. No. Not only did you never ask, they're going to have all of a sudden they have a dream. Oh, all of a sudden they have a dream. So you have to give them a reminder a day before, so they can't have no dream.
The spirit
no dream.
The Holy Spirit.
I don't feel in my spirit that you should go there. Since you had 2 weeks to fill in your spirit. Feel the spirit. Pray from 2 weeks ago so I can tell people that I'm not.
Now that you're picking out your outfit.
Bro, when I was younger and I didn't give the 2 weeks notice, I had to be the person that flopped. Because my mom said no.
My mom said no, bro. I
can't tell them my mom had a dream, my mom had a spirit. No. So now, sorry guys, pray from 2 weeks ago, a week before, a day before. But now, you know, we had a nice playing field where it's like, plans came up, you know, then they hit me up. We want to go get some food together, and it's Friday night. Or after this podcast, after we're done, we want to go get some drinks or whatever. It's Friday. Boom. I'm about to be home late, and it's cool.
That's it.
We they already know I'm here. Mm-hmm. And the people who have my location have my location. If God forbid anything happened, you heard from Ashley? No, I'm about to call her right now. And I'm only a call away. I'm not. Before I used to put my phone on D&D after 12 because I knew it was gonna be where are you? But now it's open.
Oh,
you can
that's
call me.
wicked.
You can call me.
Bro.
I'm still outside. I'll be back home later.
Nah, you said ignore the calls.
It's been interesting.
That's worse.
It's been interesting, like, y'all all talking about this because y'all all still live, like, with your parents in your house. But, like, I had all of these worries when I lived in my parents' house, and I still do when I come back from D.C. But living by myself, I've been able to make my own rules. They'll text me, and sorry, I don't like the same access doesn't apply, but I've learned boundaries where I give them enough information to comfort them, but I also do what I want to do at the end. And like my mom nowadays, like I'll be able to text and be like, yeah, I went out the other night with my law school friends, like we went to this place, whatever. She was like, were you safe? Were you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm good. You see me in front of you, I'm chilling. So it's like interesting when I left the house, because my sister left the house, but she lived in Queens. So it wasn't like they felt her presence like gone as much, but like for me, I'm far, so they have to learn the boundary of their parenting to a certain extent. It can't stretch all the way to DC.
You can't. It's not 4 hours
exactly.
long.
If you're in my crib and you're staying with me, sure, we could do it for the 3 days that you're here. But for me, it's been like liberating, but also challenging, like kind of finding where I need to stop myself too. There's no reason I should be home when the sun rises, but there's no reason I need to go home at 11:30 either. Right. Y'all know my curfew was 11:30 when I'm here, so it's like
that was a hard life to live, my friend.
Still is, because when I'm here, it's where are you?
Really?
Yeah,
it's still that time though.
Oh, I'm gonna be late tonight.
My mom tried that. My mom tried a curfew with me, and then I had to tell her.
About tried.
Well, I'm gonna tell you tried because she tried to do the whole. Lately, you've been coming home so late, and you shouldn't be outside of this time. So your curfew now is going to be
unladylike.
Whoa! It's going to be.
I wish my mother would.
She know that one now. Unladylike comment really gets me. Like,
what is being unladylike?
She wanted the curfew to be 12:30.
Man,
right?
Nah, for a fact.
So I told her, you used to go out because my parents came here in high school days, like they were 18, 20-ish. So they used to go out when they were here. I had to ask her straight up that time. I said, when you used to go out? Boy, at 12:30, You think 12:30 is a reasonable time for me to come back home? She tried the whole, oh, yes, it is. I said, no, it's not. Because you know what, 12:30, first of all, let's say the
party just started.
Bro, the party just started.
You remember that time you came to my house and my aunt and mom, they were like, y'all leaving here at 10? We were like, yeah.
Yes.
But
Bro.
the difference is my mother didn't go out. Like,
Bro.
She didn't do nothing, bro. As far as I know.
Party just started at 12:30. Matter of fact, no cops has been called yet at 12:30.
You still got a good 2.5 hours.
DJ just got on set.
Just warming it up, like 12:30. I told her, no, I think that's not good to work. And best believe it, the next night I did not come home.
Nah, you're ODing.
No, because it wasn't gonna work.
When the sun come up, though.
She does.
I know, but it's not all the time because I have respect for my house. I have respect for my house, but sometimes you lose track of time. I used to tell her, I lost track of time.
They stopped believing me when I said that.
Facts.
No,
After 2 times, you're like, just go on.
Yes, no, because I really do lose track of time. You outside, you're not on your phone. You're outside, you're having fun. Whether it be at a restaurant, you closing down the restaurant, and then you going to a second spot, whatever. Like, I lost track of time.
I do want to say to those listening that like if you have parents who are immigrant parents and you're a first generation American living here, as you navigate entering into your adulting life, just make sure you respect your parents and how they raised you first, and appreciate that before you enter the next phase of life, because what they taught you is what's going to carry you into that phase of life.
Absolutely. And then you also might have to have a conversation where you have to tell your parents that same thing again, like trust the parenting that you gave me, to know that when I am outside, best believe Ashley's going to be safe. Ashley's coming home in one piece.
She's a good representation.
And I'm a good representation of what you have done.
But also,
nobody can say Ashley is wilding in this.
I'm a very firm believer in reminding your parents that you brought us here. I didn't buy the ticket to come here. You put me on a plane here.
I'm very happy I didn't grow up in Jamaica.
You popped me out.
The result that happens when you build your family in America, because if we all grew up in the countries that we originally, like our parents came from, it's different. So it would be 100% be different. So it's telling your parents to have grace on you too, because you're the one that brought me here. I have to learn how to navigate life here without taking your perspective and running with it. I have to build my own perspective. I have to build my own personality, my own character. So adulting in that phase, even living at home, not living at home, but doing your own thing, is very challenging when you start making your own decisions minus your immigrant parents.
Also, I mean, this is a little like kind of not counterproductive what you said, but like as adults, not, like when you were younger, if one parent said yes and the other parent said no, like you could, like if one said no, you can't go to the other one and ask.
I know who to finesse.
So like now I think like as adults I kind of use my parents not against each other, but like
you're wild.
Not against each other, but like
against each other.
To talk to one another. For me, like for example, like,
you know which one to ask
about like living away. So like now that my parents are retired, they keep going to Dominica, right, for extended periods of time. So they're in Dominica now, and my mom was like, "I need you to still let me know when you get to school in the morning." Because I do, like, I let them, like, every morning I let them know when I get to school in the morning because I leave really early and I'm driving an hour. And then she was like, call me when you get home. And I'm like, you're not in the country. If something happens to me, you physically cannot help me. You get
charged for international calls, too.
No, you got WhatsApp. But, like, that was the thing. And then, you're stupid. And then, and then dad had to tell mom, like, yo, like, leave them alone. And she's like, what? Like, he's like, but that is making sense. You're not even like, but like, you gotta like, Dad, I really gotta talk to y'all. Like, I have to message y'all every morning, and now I gotta message Kristen too every morning because she's the one actually here every morning to make things happen.
Now my parents egg each other on. So it's like, you're worried, you should call. No, you should call. I called her yesterday. No, you should call. I'm like, bro, don't call me. Both of you. just stay there.
But I'm just saying, like, that's like my new thing now. Like, when something is like, also because I just didn't talk to people, but now I'm just like, actually, the other one upset me. I'm going to talk to him. Because I also, as an adult, like I said, I'm like you said, I'm very self-aware, and I understand that I always do not have the best delivery in times of frustration. And at the end of the day, I'm still in my parents' house. So like that's another thing that I kind of use. But that's a 2-parent household. So if that's not your experience, I'm sorry.
But that's also a New York thing, still being at your parents' house.
Definitely, it's expensive to live here. People live in 200 square foot for $900.
I also don't plan on leaving my parents' house till I get married, because really and truly, for me to start building the finances the way I want,
I needed to leave.
My dream is to have my own pretty apartment, like Blair Waldorf.
But I'm also, once again, last child.
Rent.
Last child, and also because of like the plans that I've been trying to make for myself. I need financial stability somewhere.
Right.
And for me, it's not a big thing. Like I just said, my parents are retired and they're not here half the time. My sister's in school. I'm in school. We're pretty much doing it on our own here. And I don't plan on making more bills for myself than I have to, because in my head, my first thing I still want to pay off is this mortgage.
Listen, man. I guess for me, it kind of changed a little bit. So when I first started working out of school, I was definitely on that 2-year track where it's like, I'm about to save for 2 years, and I'm about to be, and I used to be putting in seeds in my parents' head, like, you're going to miss me when I'm gone. You know, like the whole, that whole thing.
The cup song.
The whole cup song. I used to sing that cup song, you're going to miss me when I'm gone, because every time my mom would call me to do something for her, I'd be like,
look right.
I'm good for you now, but you're going to miss me when I'm gone. And it has changed a little bit, because now timing and things have changed, but I still want to have that whole experience of living by myself, and knowing that I can take care of myself before I add somebody into the equation.
Definitely
it would be
necessary.
I mean, this is a dream, this is ideal, but I wouldn't mind if I get picked up out of my parents' home and I go build something with somebody else. But I also want to have that ideal of like, I did this. This is mine. I can do it.
The ownership.
And then also, I can just turn it into an investment property and rent it out after I leave.
Money opportunity.
So I still have that ideal in mind. I'm still building towards that.
I just want to mention one thing, because I don't know if you all saw the tweet of the guy who did a study on like how your time is spent with different people in your lives. So it was friends, family. It was work friends, your husband, your spouse, whatever, and it was kind of sad to see how, as you grow up, the time spent with your family is much, much less. Like, the graph literally plummeted at family. So I think, like, even though you move into a phase of adulting and you set your boundaries and all of that, please make sure that you still love on your parents or whoever your guardian is, like, genuinely, because, again, Earth is hot. So it's like,
very hot.
When you're doing things with boundaries, or still be intentional about loving on who got you to where you are, whether it's your parent by blood, parent by whatever type, whoever you look up to, who you see as a parent figure. Make sure you are intentional about the time you spend with that person.
But as a math person, when you first said the study, I'm asking you, who are they studying? Because ain't no way for me to move out of my parents' house or me to move into my own place and my family be excluded. I'm sorry, throughout my whole life, up until now, and the things that I see,
so I don't think
the family don't get missed out.
So I don't think it's exclusion as much as it is like people thinking that their parents and family will always be there, and that they don't need to be intentional about the time they spend with their family.
And you can be in a house with your parents or be in a space and your family still be in the mix, and them still not getting
time with them.
A lot of time in comparison to the rest of the time. Because the graph, if I know what graph you're talking about, it's about every part of your life together.
Who do they study?
So my point is, when you're younger, you may spend 40% of your time or 80% of your time with your family, obviously because of nurture, right? But as you go on, you spend how many hours of the day at work, then you spend how many hours of the day sleeping, all of that. You have to be intentional about it as well. And for you also, your childhood friends, or like a good amount of your friends, are your family. And that's not the reality for many other people.
I don't have a lot of childhood friends. My childhood friends are my cousins. So shout out to them. For me, I don't know if that is totally true, because when I was in school, they were at work and we came home together. So as much as they weren't spending time with me, I was not spending time with them, because you know what I'm saying?
Like the same graph for both of y'all.
It's the same graph for both of us. So we see each other when we see. It's not like it's declining.
So I guess
it's not that it's declining. It's that in total, as a child, you spend more time.
I think your circumstance is special.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
I'm saying for me personally,
right.
it may apply for y'all, but for me, what I'm analyzing is like
I think you have a very special circumstance.
I don't have a lot of friends that aren't family.
I feel that. I mean, I don't feel that, but I understand.
The baseline of my friends are family. Like,
I get that.
So it's kind of like for me to grow up and now
be like,
I'm spending time with my friends.
That means you cut your cousins off.
That means I cut up my friends.
Right.
Right.
That means you're by yourself.
I'm by myself.
Again, that is a very, very special circumstance that not everybody can say that they have. So that's why I say, like, aside if your family are your friends, which I can attest, actually, it's very true. I think, like, aside from these circumstances where you would lose your entire like friendship,
it's because my parents just be like, you have no friends, bro. Like, you going to school to make friends? You're not going to school to make friends. You're going to school to learn. I didn't make friends. We had a whole episode on that. I don't have a lot of friends.
Well, that's morbid. I'm your friend. They're there.
I don't have a lot.
Ashley.
They're there.
Yo, don't bring that back up.
We love you, Ashley.
We're here for you.
If you know, you know.
For you.
If you know, you know.
But I understand. Like, taking family for granted, I can totally stamp my agreement on that. Yeah.
Just make sure, as you adult, you learn to appreciate what you're leaving behind as you move into your new phase of life.
Or don't say that you're leaving it behind.
Yeah. Why are we leaving people behind?
Sorry. I'm saying. Now I'm being corrected. Y'all know what I mean.
No, it's not about us not knowing what you mean. It's about ensuring that they know what you mean.
No, but the thing is, I take it back. It's halfway. You can't take everybody with you to the next phase.
And sometimes you have to choose.
However, you should not be leaving people behind. You know, everybody should be moving together up.
That's a whole different
episode. I like to leave.
I left some people behind from.
It's a whole different episode.
Yeah, I left a lot of people behind this year, and you know what? I'm actually very much at peace with that, and I never thought I would.
Together up.
We could be moving together in separate directions.
I don't like that. For me personally, I have a problem with that.
Everybody is in your life not necessarily to be there for the entirety of it. So if you were here for a season, I love you. I would never not love you for who you had been to me, but it was who you were to me. I would never speak bad of you if our experience together was great, and that's that. But sometimes you weren't meant to grow with that.
Y'all will hear me say this all season. Free the guys.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I feel like I would like for everyone that's in my life for us to be moving together out. And I understand, like, everybody can't be. You can't take everybody with you to the next phase. But ideally, I would like for everybody to be moving.
I would love it, but it's not realistic.
It's not realistic for me.
It's not as realistic.
When our values start to change, and like when you start to come into your own and who you find yourself to be, and like as adults trying to figure out like what matters to you. Like, no, I just feel like as adults trying to figure out what matters.
I feel like if you're putting that out, that's what's gonna come.
I don't think it's putting it out. That's what's gonna come. I think that's just life.
So we're gonna grow up, and we're not gonna have
like some of my high school friendships. Some of my high school friendships, I genuinely thought.
No, but at this time in life, most of your friends, is gonna be there.
Right now, yeah, definitely.
Right now, I mean, we're not talking about in the past.
It depends.
I'm talking about for my right now.
It depends.
I've lost, or I've my relationship with a lot of people who I was close to in the last 2 years is not the same. And I feel like you have the growing pains thing, and everybody. I feel like the growing pains is very interesting in this phase because it's like we're all trying to come into our own as adults and figure things out and set our boundaries and understand what we can deal with and what we can't deal with. And everybody's not willing to put in the work to maintain. And for me...
But I also think people don't know what the work looks like.
Okay, but I would say for me personally, when like my friends know what's important to me and what I expect in spite of and throughout. And I feel like if you can't give that to me and you don't communicate that to me and things change, at a certain point, I'm allowed to now change as well.
Are you doing the same for them?
Yes.
You're sure?
Yes, I communicate very well.
Wait. Communication is not all the standards.
I understand what you're saying though, and I'm like,
you know what I'm saying?
Communication the specific relationships I'm talking about.
Right. You planted that seed of.
I am 100% sure that I did all that I could, and it's also just like there's a certain point where I need to now do what I need to do for me because you're also not helping me grow anymore either. Like, and if this is how you are and this is how you're choosing to operate, I'm not bashing it. I respect it, but I don't have space for that mode of operation in my life where I am right now either. So if we come back, we come back. And if we don't, that's fine. But I don't think there's anything wrong with knowing that and understanding that. And if you choose not to, that's perfectly fine as well. But for me, it's just like that is my actual reality right now as an adult, dealing with a lot of my friendships and my growing pain season. So ain't no harm in adjusting that either.
And that is adulting, man.
I'm actually kind of similar in a different aspect where it's kind of like I thrive on relationships that are in my face. Like, and I'll reference like my friends from my job. Like during the school year, we're like super, super close. And then once it hit summer break, I think we spoke like twice. And then the school year started again, and it was as if we never left. So I think in that aspect where because it's not like we're losing the friendship, but it's almost like respecting the space.
Low maintenance.
It's low maintenance, yeah.
Low
So
vibration.
I don't know if that's the same kind of thing as you when you were mentioning like if you grow apart, you grow apart. If you come back, you come back. But
That's something different. No,
that's not what I'm talking about. Because I have low maintenance friendships and high maintenance friendships that I've gone through that with. I do have low maintenance friendships.
You
don't have to believe me.
Low maintenance friends, yeah.
Okay.
And having low maintenance friends, because you thrive in having them in your face, you have to just be more intentional about having them in your face.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think that's okay, and I think that's
It
part
is fun.
of accepting that is part of becoming an adult. So I wanted to, before we close out, I wanted to ask, when did y'all realize you were an adult? Like, when did it click that you were no longer a kid?
My last semester of undergrad.
Why?
It was one specific day. I drove to work, and I did work, whatever, and I drove to school. And then I drove home, and I was like, damn, I'm tired. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, what if, and there's some days where I just drove to work, and then I drove home, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, when I drive back home one day, I'm going to be encountering my husband and my kids, and like, this is how it's going to be. It's like, I enjoy this. And that's when I was like, oh, I guess this is what adulting feels like.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, oh, damn.
Nah, I got hit with a truck when I started paying bills. Like, now I pay for my electricity, my water, my heat, my sewage, everything.
Also getting my car, yeah.
So now it's like, and like navigating if something is broken, this and this, thanks to the maintenance people in my building. But I think just like now, the second I moved out of my house, that first month, I was like, shit, I'm doing this by myself. Like, nobody's here, I have to figure this out on my own. Thank God, like, my parents equipped me properly to carry myself in that phase of life. But yeah, that's definitely this year. I always thought I was an adult, but this year I'm an adult now. Y'all hear me? I'm an adult now.
I already kind of addressed mine partially, like when my parents retired.
Yeah.
More so because I felt the pressure of the burden that was to come.
That's tough.
But outside of that, I would say, yeah, I think now too, but differently, more so because like I feel like I'm genuinely ready for a relationship with a person. Like I'm ready to, I'm like, I've always been ready for that, but like it's something that I'm starting to actually like crave in a way that I've never like craved it before. And like part of me is like, chill, you don't got nothing to offer. I mean, I do have things to offer, but like the things that I want to bring into a relationship, I don't know if I'm completely there yet for myself.
Don't say that.
No, I mean, like I'm talking about very specific things. Like I'm talking like finances. Like I want to come in equipped to a certain extent.
Our loans, my loans.
In that specific way, so I'm not as like, but I don't know, like. Yeah, I feel like I've always been doing a lot. Like my life has always been goal. Like so, like those like little day-to-day like nuances that would change for other people didn't really affect me in any way. It was just a new thing. But I think like my new step in adulting is like I'm ready. Like I'm ready for a person. Like I'm ready to have somebody to share my day with, to like go through this next phase of life with. And yeah, that's like my newer.
Sometimes I really don't want that stuff. What about you, Ree?
Mine was when I started at the school, just because I was working 2 jobs at the time. I was also driving my sister to school, so I felt like I was taking up a lot of like my mom's roles in the sense of contributing to the house. Like I felt I was cooking more. Like I was like, it gave grown women. And then especially because when I was working at Aeropostale, a lot of the other employees were younger. Like 11th grade.
I remember
12th
they were like
grade.
the kids, bro.
And they were like, oh yeah. I was like, oh, I just graduated. And they're like, oh my gosh, where are you going for college? And I was like, I mean, I just graduated college.
Yo, someone did that to me the other day.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I finished school. She's like, so
what's
you're
that?
back home? I'm like, no,
babe, I'm
Uh-oh.
college.
I'm done.
That was a big eye opener, especially because some of those kids looked older than me. So like, even though in the mirror I don't see an adult, I felt grown because of how that was.
Responsibility.
You know what I mean? But yeah.
So today's quote, I mean, I don't know if y'all are really with this one, but I like the honesty part, and that's the part I went with for the quote. It's a disclaimer for the quote. I'm just putting the disclaimer because I feel like we said, like, being honest is a very good part of navigating your adult life. And I mean, that works with your parents, but it's also going to work with the spouses and like business relationships, all the stuff. So that's what I chose the quote, and this is my quote. So Fred Rogers said, "Honesty is often very hard. The truth can often also be painful, but the freedom it brings is worth the trying."
Oh, that was poetic. Fantastic.
Thank you guys for joining us
this episode.
on this episode.
Yeah.
We are now back. Be sure to tune in. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe again. Follow us on all platforms, especially Instagram, and start interacting.
YouTube.
Start interacting with us. Now we answering back.
We
now.
trying to hear what y'all gotta say. So
Right.
talk.
Yeah, and it's season 2, so it's gonna get even better than last time. So the topics, you know, we just simmering it out. We just coming back. We giving you an update now. You know, next couple episodes is gonna be, especially if you send in your scenarios, your story times, your topics that you want to talk about. If you want to be on to talk about whatever, please let us know. Pull up.
We have a mic
YouTube.
for you.
I know you might be listening or wherever you're listening to, but if you check the YouTube, you're going to see all the faces, all the expressions, everything that's going on between Rianne speaking and giving ASMR to her mic. Yes. But all of that, you know? So check it out.
My facial expressions.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye.